And so I've got this prescription medication. It's called triamcinolone acetonide cream. And I put that on and takes care of it. But it's in the same little container as this stuff that's called Proctazone HC, which is a generic version of Preparation H. So now you know what to call me. Mama didn't raise no fool, or did she?
It's not just you, Ted.
Not just me, not just you. Right.
I did a lot of preparation for this morning.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
I get this thing right. Well, happy Mother's Day, moms. And Nancy would say, it feels weird to be singing my own Mother's Day song. She said, oh, I have a mom. Had a mom. Right, y'all had moms. We all had moms, unless we were born out of a test tube. Or even then, you get implanted. But happy Mother's Day. So I entitled this Mom, Isn't She Lovely? And that tune got in my head, and then I found out that, I looked at the words for Stevie Wonder's song, and actually it appears to be a little girl that would have been born to them. And so it wasn't quite right, and then I found something by Anthem Lights, is the name of the group that did this other song, and so I take that as my title, Isn't She Lovely? And then just the past couple of days, that song, Waymaker, has been going through my head, and during the night, and I wake up with it, and it's Waymaker. And it's really fits very well for moms. You're light in the darkness for us, even as wives. You're light in the darkness. You're a miracle worker. You're a promise keeper. But you're not God. But you are His design, and so we're here to celebrate you today. And we're going to start out with a little prayer, though, I think. Oh, I pushed the wrong button. Because even a believing mother might need to be reminded sometime by her child that she was raised to believe that prayer was important. Right?
Hey,
Volume up.
Let me ask you this. Do you remember the Lord's Prayer?
Do I remember what?
The Lord's Prayer?
Can you all hear it?
Prayer.
The Lord's Prayer. Do you know how to say the Lord's Prayer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's say it together. Say it.
What?
The Lord's Prayer.
The Lord's Prayer.
The Lord's Prayer. Our Father.
Our Father who art in heaven.
Yes.
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, thy earth on earth in heaven. Give us this day our day of bread. And give us our... What?
Trespasses.
Well, anyways. That's our... In Jesus' name, amen.
Whatever.
Very, very good, Mama.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Yeah.
How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
84.
84. Getting close.
She seems like she's more like 94.
Yeah, I hope so, because I'm
Well, here's a, you get to write something in right up front. It's a quote from William Makepeace Thackeray. And he says, Mother is the name for God on the lips of little children. We've talked about this before, how much our parents imprint this sense of who God is. They're our provider, they're our protector, caregivers, all of those kinds of things in a good setting. Not all settings, unfortunately, are like that. And then, of course, that has its effect. But we're gonna camp on the positive side today, because I see a room full of good moms and grandmoms and great-grandmoms. Is there a great-grandmother in here? Okay, yeah. The Bertettas, if you've ever seen the Bertetta family picture, it goes on and on and on. How many generations are there? Barbara and John. Then there's, yeah.
Then Melanie.
Yeah, and Julianne and Chad.
Mark's kids.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, none of their children have had kids yet. And I think most of Mark's kids are still under 8.
Well, we're at least 4 generations, aren't we?
Mark's kids have kids. Right, but Mark.
Yeah.
but
Something like 4.
yeah,
Something like 4. All right, ladies, break it up. Okay, we're going to move right along. Next one in here. God himself created mothers in his image. Does that sound like a stretch? No, it's not. Here's the passage we all know so well. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase and become mothers and fathers, right? Increase in number. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on this, but I heard it said that one of the names for God means the many-breasted one. Now, that's a very interesting thing, and it's from El Shaddai or El Shaddad, and the word shad can be translated as breasted. And I think it fits in here. I think it fits in here. God himself, who created mothers in his image, models for them the capacity to love and comfort others. God models that for us, for all of us. It's not just for mothers, but our focus is on mothers today. Isaiah 66:13 says this, as a mother comforts her child, so will I comfort you. So it follows through. And then we're told in is it Romans or Philippians, with the comfort you've received, that's in Romans, right? That's what we've been reading. With the comfort you received, comfort others. Corinthians, that's where we are. Yeah, we move so fast. Okay, life doesn't come with a manual, it comes with a mother. Isn't that true? Yeah. Richard?
Yeah.
Life doesn't come with a manual. You know, mothers will read lots of books in preparation, and they'll go to classes and learn a lot of things, but the only manual that the kid gets, who can't read and can't work any of that stuff out, is what he sees. Again, the focus being on the mother. From the parents, what that child sees. And when I was going through YouTube to find various things, then I saw a picture of two women, and that particular YouTube was The Making of an Alcoholic. A mom and daughter and The Making of an Alcoholic. I didn't click on that one. That wasn't towards our goal. But that's not a good manual. That's not a good mother manual for your child. I have a concern about some people I know that drink excessively, and their little kids see that, and they get that sense that this is adulthood. And I have a concern for that. Smoking, yeah, cursing, any number of things that are really not good for them to take forward into that next generation. Proverbs 1:8b and 9. It includes fathers, if I give you the whole thing, but again, focusing on mothers. Solomon, let's presume, says, don't forsake your mother's teaching. It will improve your character, as a handsome turban or a necklace improves your appearance. Don't forsake the manual that you received from your mother, her teaching. Halima Sisi. She's a 26-year-old mother of one from Mali, forget the and an only child. She grew up as an only child. Now, this is not brand new news, but I only heard about it recently. We're going to see a little more about her. She grew up an only child, and she saw all these larger families around her, and I imagine especially in a developing country, Mali, that perhaps there were large families around her, and she wanted that. She wanted to be part of a large family. So we're going to meet Halima Sisi. She's a mother you won't soon forget. Do anybody know about this gal? Oh, this is going to be great for you. She could use our prayers. I'll front load it with this. She could use our prayers. Halima gave birth to 9 premature babies at 30 weeks by C-section. 30 weeks.
And it was natural, it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, it was natural birth. It wasn't from fertility drugs. Wasn't natural because she had to have a C-section in that sense. And so, here we're going to hear about
It is a
her.
handful. Having 9 at once
Whoops. What I wanted to do is turn
is a
that.
handful. Having 9 at once, well, that must be harrowing. Our team just got back from Morocco to meet the mother who was expecting 7 kids, but discovered 2 more surprises while delivering. Our Lindsay Davis brings us this remarkable story.
Halima Cisse and her husband Abdel Kadir Arbi are on their way to the neonatal intensive care unit in Casablanca. A far journey from their homeland in Timbuktu, but one these parents were relieved to make. It's been nearly 2 months since this 26-year-old mother from Mali had not 1, not 2, but 9 babies. We're hearing from them for the very first time.
So we always wanted a baby. But if someone told me one day, Mr. Arby, I would have 9 babies, I would say it's false.
For months, scans were only showing 7 fetuses. It wasn't until she gave birth that doctors realized there were 2 more.
There were a lot of things going through my mind. Being afraid for myself, for my kids, how it was going to unfold. All of that was going through my mind.
They're called nonuplets, and they're extremely rare. In fact, there have only been 2 other recorded cases, but none have survived past a few days. The last time we saw anything close to this many multiple births was 12 years ago from Nadia Suleiman.
I wish I could split myself into 14 parts of it.
Nicknamed Octomom, she is the current Guinness World Record holder for most children delivered at a single birth to survive. But she had 8 babies, and like most multiple births, they were conceived through in vitro fertilization. Halima's pregnancy is all the more rare because it occurred naturally, requiring a team of 10 doctors and 25 paramedics for her C-section.
That means it's a first. This is the first time we're attending a birth like this. The most important delivery we've seen was 4 babies that I've seen in my career. But the births of these babies, 9 babies, it's very rare. She's the first one to give birth to 9 babies who are alive and healthy.
Such pregnancies are extremely dangerous for the mother, but this clinic was determined to keep both mom and babies alive.
So we fight for every baby. We don't give in. We don't present 9 babies to the mom. We present 1 baby at a time. This baby must grow. It must survive. That's that reasoning. So we're not reasoning between these 9, choosing who will survive development. Everyone has to survive.
Born after 30 weeks, their weight ranged between 1 and just a little over 2 pounds. They've spent the first few months of their little lives sequestered in this ICU. The Malian government flew them out during pregnancy. Each day, Halima and Abdel Kadir must suit up in PPE just to hold their 5 girls and 4 little boys. 9 names is certainly a lot to keep track of, but their parents tell us they wanted their names to be as significant as their birth.
The first boy bears the name in tribute to his King Mohammed VI, and he is the King of Morocco. And the second boy is Baghdad's name. He is the former president of Mali.
The clinic staff tells us they use about 75 diapers and about 100 bottles of milk a day.
It's a lot of work and a lot of work, but out of love, all love, I promise you, for the whole team. It's not just me, for love. Doctors and everything, making visits every morning, baby by baby, we're all doing it. Individualized care, that is very, very good.
Soon, these non-uplets will be able to take the voyage back to Mali, where their big sister awaits. Abdel Kadir is a soldier in the Malian army, and Halima is a student. Now they have 10 children. The added pressure weighs heavily on their minds.
It must also be said, the weight, the responsibility is enormous. It's huge. To raise 1 baby is not easy, and then 9 more. 9, and we also measure care that is necessary. and the follow-up that is there, which appeals and education and everything that goes with it.
Despite the obvious challenges, they are filled with an immense amount of gratitude and hope for the future. They consider these babies to be a blessing from God.
And what I want to tell you, I'll add that it's divine gratification. It must be said. The output surprised us. It's surprising. Even after the surprise, we have joy that has always been there. Responsibilities are confident and optimistic. Everything's going to be fine.
And what a beautiful family. Thanks to our Lindsay Davis for that.
Hi.
That is impressive, isn't it? Yeah. I'm going to capture some things that went past us. I've seen this more than once, and some things stood out to me. One of the things she says, there were a lot of things going through my mind. You know, when she discovers that she's going to have 7 babies, and then it turns to 9. And so you can imagine the lead up to all of this. She didn't just go to Morocco because her water broke. When they saw how many children she was going to have, they had to get her to a facility that could handle all these multiple births. There were a lot of things on my mind. I was afraid for myself. It's amazing that she survived that. And she was hemorrhaging, and that's what prompted the early delivery of this, the early C-section of those preemies. How it was all going to unfold. Nobody knows how this thing's going to work out. Even, ladies, did you feel that at all for your own childbirth? You don't know how it's going to work out, and if you've had any health issues, you're afraid for yourself, you're afraid for your children. I've heard of women who spent their whole pregnancy in bed. Can you imagine? All of that was going through her mind.
Kevin,
Yes.
the most births by one woman is 69 children
Oh boy.
and 27 births.
Oh my gosh.
Quadruplets, sextuplets. I just
Yeah.
thought that would be interesting.
9 times 7. 9 times 7 is 63, so she could have done it in 7 births instead of 27. Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's 5 girls and 4 boys. And our neighbors had a quinceañera yesterday, and there were cars as far as the eye could see, and loud music and people. And my tenant has 4 daughters, Hispanic tenant, and I'm thinking, they got 5 girls and 4 boys. And he talks about it, educating them, caring for them, feeding and dressing, the whole works. So here they are, all lined up. Looks like these guys are taking after Dad with their little camo suits.
They look so healthy, look at them.
They are. Yeah, wonderful. Well, I imagine they really have to watch, because they could, at 30 weeks, oftentimes the lungs aren't developed and things aren't fully developed. So this is truly a gift from God. That's what Dad says.
Amen.
Isn't she wonderful? You know, I want to go back because I added this one point. 5 girls and 4 boys, one at a time. It's one at a time. And I liked what the doctor said. We don't give Mom 9 babies at once. We give her 1. Don't overwhelm her. Let her have a moment and bond however long she's got that baby for the first time. And there's more that we'll capture here about that. Isn't she wonderful? A mom doesn't have to deliver a big litter to be significant and be proud of her newborn. Wouldn't you be proud? What an ugly baby. You don't have to have a litter for your birth to be significant, but the point here is that it goes beyond. That was a point they made that the dad said, not just the birth. The whole mother-child relationship is significant. I love that poor cat. And that's just a small litter. That's only 4. Number 5, for you, a devoted mother is, forget the O's, the is. A devoted mother knows her child's particular nature. You know, you have 2 kids, they're not alike. Tyson and Darren, our 2 boys, are really quite different. That mother knows, learns, discovers their particular nature and responds to the specific needs of each child. They're different. Different things are going to meet those needs. This is especially effective when dad is fully engaged. Look at, there they are with the 9. And he's commented on this, and he's the one who makes the point that they are significant beyond the event. Isn't she amazing? Just take this generically for any woman who goes through that. And you can see the belly button has turned inside out right through the clothing. Sometimes. It's amazing. The body, isn't God amazing? Isn't the human body fearfully and wonderfully made? Isn't she amazing? Isn't it all amazing? The nesting instinct during pregnancy is the overwhelming desire to get your home ready for your new baby. She had no way of anticipating that she would need 9 of everything and 100 diapers a day. Can you imagine? Oh. And, yeah, I'm going to give you some vital statistics here on this kind of stuff. Moms, in case you've forgotten, oh, you got to have this one. This is what 10 centimeters of dilation of your cervix was like. Okay, I hope this isn't a little too much information. But check it out. That biggest hole, that's the head. Isn't that amazing? That the body goes through so many changes, and I don't envy you one bit. Nope. Not a bit. Not a bit. I marvel. I marvel. Moms can't be, don't have to be, and shouldn't expect themselves to be perfect. But don't you? I mean, don't you kind of feel like, oh, I screwed that up. I could have done better. Oh, I wrecked their life. It's all my fault. No, Mom. God's perfection and grace are sufficient for the job. You know what? Hold that word grace. I mean, marinate on that. We know He's perfect, but His grace lets that flow out over us, into us, upon us. You don't have to be perfect, and don't even think it. Banish the thought. Moms are not responsible for every choice their children make.
That's for sure.
That goes with the last one. You don't have to be perfect. You think that your kids, when they seem to be going off the rails or they're going a whole different way, you wonder, what did I do wrong? Now, I've noticed that there is nature. You can see 2 kids, the twins. I'm thinking of a pair of twins. One of them has a scowl on his face and a behavior that matches, and the other one is happy-go-lucky. That's the nature they're born with. But there's the nurture part, how they're raised, that impacts them so much. They have their own nature, they have their own ways, they have their own inclination, and you know, bad company corrupts good character, so you can give them the very best you can give them, and something's still going to go haywire. Certainly can. And you got to be patient too. Last one for you to write in is mothers need to be appreciated, honored, and celebrated. More than just appreciated and honored, but we have this special day for celebration, and it's great. We're enjoying having both of our boys here, and it makes it really special. It's at a certain age where it really makes a difference. Moms, aren't they lovely? Doesn't matter what color, what hue, what country, what nationality, what religion, none of that matters. 4 generations of dedicated lovelihood. You know, it's rewarding. It's not quite the right word I want to use, but seeing our boys begin to take on the nurturing role of their aging parents. Let me get that, Dad. How can I help? That's really significant. Any woman can birth a child, but it takes a real woman to love, cherish, and raise that child. I told you I wanted to give you some vital statistics on this, and some of it'll be repetitious to you. It was 10 doctors and 25 paramedics. How do you get that many people hovering around? But I imagine that each child was delivered into the care of a doctor perhaps, and some paramedics, and maybe a specialist. You know how they often have to clear the lungs out? They can have meconium, they can have problems, and you've got to get them breathing and then get them in incubators and all of that kind of stuff. This was quite a operation. Here was the weight. They gave it in grams, 500 grams. I did the conversion on it. It's 1.1 pounds. That's a baby. 1.1 pounds, the biggest one being 2.25 pounds. How is it possible? How is it possible that they can have functional organs and all that's required to grow, and they look pretty darn big and healthy? Yeah, amazing. Daily care involves, and you've heard this one, feeding. It's feeding time, 100 bottles of milk. That's 1.5 gallons. They give it to it, they say it in a liter. 1 liter is only 1.5 gallons plus. Requiring the change of 75 to 100 diapers per day.
That's a full-time job.
That's a full-time job. You could take some of those doctors and nurses home with you.
Just changing the diapers.
Yeah. And nobody runs and says, I'll get that.
Can you imagine if they were cloth diapers?
Oh boy. Yeah, like our parents had. You wash them in the toilet. And then you got to get them from their drip stage to wherever they go next. Wring them out. Oh boy.
Been there, done that.
The woman, one of the nurses said it's a lot of work. Did you hear? She went on and on. A lot of work, but for love. All love. The whole team. And so we see this thing come together, that it's the love of a mother. It's the love of God who created man and woman in His image to comfort and love. The cost, the care bill for all 9 babies is estimated to be $1.237 million and some change. And the Malian government covered that. The babies are expected to remain at the hospital for an additional 2 months. Now this is old news. The value. All right, there's the cost. Here's the value. Priceless. Sounds like a commercial. Imagine 9 names to choose, having to choose 9 names and remember them. I call Darren Diego. I call Diego Darren. That's just 2 or 3. Well, the parents want their names to be as significant as their birth, and so Dad said this: the firstborn is named after the 6th king of Morocco. I think he has gratitude for Morocco for what they've done. They flew them to their facility and cared for them with the best of experts, and the president of Malawi saw to it that they were paid for. It was just 7 more to go. The parents want their names to be as first. Oh, just 7 more to name. I had to figure out what I was saying. You got to come up with names. You know, you can spend a lot of time coming up with the name for your one child that you're going to have. You don't have a whole lot of time for this stuff. Is it George Foreman that named all his kids George? Yeah, that's just lazy or egotistical. Cece's husband calls the babies a gift from God, a blessing. This is premature. Another preemie. That will be our offering. What happened here? I don't want to mess with it, but I'm going to invite whoever's coming up for the offering. I'm probably way out of sequence on much of this, but I'm going to shut it down, and got something else that we're going to add in here as well. Ron, would you bless the offering?